Hello, my name is Kat Bordhi, and I'd like to introduce you to the material in my new book, Personal Footprints for Insouciant Sock Knitters. Insouciant is a word that you may not yet know. It describes that cheerful feeling you have when absolutely nothing is troubling you. That's how I feel when I knit socks this way, and I hope you will too. You'll start by knitting one single sock to discover the number of stitches and increases that will give you a perfect fit. You can use double-pointed needles or one or two circular needles as you wish. This single sock is called a discovery sock, and it might look like this. It simply needs to be worked in stockinette. It gives you the information you need to knit yourself or someone else perfectly fitted socks using nothing more than a special cut-out foot tracing. Here you see a cardboard footprint being cut out. The foot stood on the cardboard, was traced accurately, and is now being cut out. The reason it needs to be cut out is because as you knit your discovery sock, every time you discover a particular thing that your foot needs you to know, you will draw a line on the cardboard so that you can refer to it later to knit perfectly fitted socks. I call this your personal footprint. The markings on this personal footprint record the information gathered by knitting one discovery sock. Every foot will give you its own unique information. A personal footprint is a complete and custom-fitted pattern. I like to cut and tape my footprint right here at this line so that it folds small enough to fit in a very small sock knitting bag, and then it can go anywhere with me. As you knit your discovery sock, you'll try it on frequently so your foot can show you what is needed and record the results on your footprint. Your foot will show you when you need sole increases to make more room as your foot rises to meet your leg. By the way, since all increases are worked on the sole, that leaves the top of the foot free for any designs you might like to add. Here's an example, one of the 28 sock designs you'll find in the book. As you can see, there are stitch patterns running up the foot and up the leg and even above. One thing that makes these socks unusual is that you knit the entire foot before starting the leg. Here's a sock in progress. You notice the string hanging off the end. That's the heel. It has not yet been closed. The open heel will be closed once the foot is done and the sock can be turned inside out. It'll be closed not with grafting but with a 3-needle bind-off. See the dark strings running through the spot where there really ought to be a leg? Well, there will be a leg there. Those strings are called lifelines, and they run through the stitches that will turn into the missing leg. Here you can see how this foot with the lifeline will give rise to the socks in the exact place that the lifelines are. It's very easy, actually. Here's how we open up the leg. We take a needle and we begin to run it through every single stitch on the one lifeline. We do one at a time. Notice how the needle is following the exact path of the lifeline. It's rather easy to do because the lifeline is visible. You make sure it's a contrast color, and you just run yourself right through the same tunnel of stitches. When you finish running through this one, then you will take either the other end of the same needle or a second needle and run through the other lifeline row. And in that way you will have secured them all on the needle and you'll be able to remove the lifelines. There we go. Notice that there is a single row of knitting in between the two lifeline rows. It's important that it's there because it needs to be removed in order to open the leg. I've taken a little clip marker and clipped it through one of the stitches in the middle of the foot so that when I cut this later, and I won't show you that in this video, I'll be doing it in another video and showing you how to knit the leg. But when it's cut, as you can see, it will unravel sideways. Now let me tell you about a special trick that is actually the whole reason that I wrote this book. Okay, while I'm talking, you'll get to see some of the socks in the book. Now, if you've ever used traditional waste yarn openings or afterthought openings, you know that these methods are really wonderful, except for those corners, where even an expert knitter has to pick up an unknown number of stitches in an attempt to organize and tighten the sloppy corners. This has always bothered me quite a bit. So one day I had a hunch that if I left the unraveled yarn in the last 2 stitches at the end of each needle, maybe it would work. It would encourage the corners to behave better because the corner stitches would still be held together in a knitterly relationship by the yarn. The helpful yarn would remain in those corner stitches even when you began knitting the leg. It was a lucky hunch because it worked the first time, and it will work the first time for you too. Here's an illustration from the book of what I'm talking about. As you can see, we have an opening. That's because the yarn has been unraveled almost to the ends. It remains in the last 2 stitches on each end of each needle or cable section. I've made the ends yellow just to make them stand out. Now, this is really the whole secret of the book. The yarn that remains in the ends keeps those stitches in a very nice relationship to each other, and there is no slacking off, no getting loose. And you'll find that out for yourself. It is really, really an easy trick and very, very effective. You'll have good, strong, clean corners. With this method, corners are automatically smooth and strong with absolutely no picked up stitches. And you always end up with all the lifeline stitches you reloaded on the needles, no more, no less. In other words, you get exactly what you aim for. There are no unknowns, and your corner stitches behave well without any particular effort on your part. Now that your leg stitches are all loaded on the needle, you're ready to attach the yarn at the back of the leg, knit the leg, and well, you have a sock. And that's about all there is to it. This video gives just a brief overview of how personal footprint socks work. To actually knit your discovery sock and make your personal footprint, you'll need to refer to the book for full details. The book will show you, step by step, how to add sole and creases to match your foot, how to determine exactly where your leg should open, and how to know where to begin your heel. The personal footprint toe and heel are coordinated to the number of sole increases you use. Both heel and toe are easy enough that you'll soon know them by heart. You'll draw all the information you've gathered from your single discovery sock on your cardboard footprint like this. Then, when it's time to knit socks, all you have to do is slide your sock in progress over the footprint to see if you've reached a line that tells you exactly what to do. It's actually that simple. Here are the steps you'll follow. Knit the toe to the recorded number, knit to the leg line, working the sole and creases as recorded, and thread your lifelines. Knit to the heel line and knit the heel, open and knit the leg, close the heel, and you have a sock. Additional YouTube videos to support the book follow this one, including demonstrations of how to start the toe on 1 long circular needle, 2 circular needles or DPNs, how to open and knit the leg, and more. All videos will be listed on my website, catbordhi.com. If you want to buy the book, I urge you to go to your local yarn shop and order it if they don't already have it, because local yarn shops are the heart and soul of our knitting community. And may you be an insouciant knitter.